The reason most men fail to make a lasting impression isn't a lack of effort, but a fundamental misunderstanding of how the human brain processes attraction. We are conditioned to believe that attraction is a logical checklist. If you are funny enough, successful enough, or perfect enough, she will like you. But the truth is that attraction is almost entirely subconscious. It doesn't live in the analytical part of the brain. It lives in the limbic system, the seat of emotion and memory. When you spend your time overthinking every text or trying to craft the perfect, impressive response, you are speaking to her logic. But logic doesn't spark desire. To be truly unforgettable, you have to bypass the surface-level chatter and hit the emotional core. Most men play it safe, staying within the boundaries of polite, predictable conversation that the brain is literally designed to filter out and forget. Think about the sheer volume of safe interactions a woman has in a single day, from the polite "How are you?" at the coffee shop to the generic "Hey, what's up?" In her inbox, her mind is bombarded with background noise. These conversations are forgettable because they lack emotional weight. They don't require her to feel anything. The human brain is an efficiency machine. It blurs out the routine and only records the moments that carry a distinct emotional charge. This is where emotional anchoring comes into play. When you step out of the script and use words rooted in real intent, curiosity, and appreciation, you aren't just talking, you are painting a psychological landmark. You are creating a specific, high-contrast memory that her unconscious mind will naturally replay when she is alone. This process of anchoring is what separates the men who are just another contact from the men who become a constant presence in her thoughts. It's about moving away from fluff, those empty filler words used to test the waters, and moving toward direct, grounded communication. When you speak directly without going around the point, you signal a level of emotional maturity and self-assurance that is incredibly rare. You aren't trying to be attractive, you are being present. By stripping away the need to perform, you create a vacuum of authenticity that pulls people in. You become the man whose words echo in her mind long after the conversation ends. Not because you were the loudest or the funniest, but because you were the only one who made her feel something real in a world full of polite, forgettable noise. 1. The power of I want. The core reason most men fail to spark attraction is a hidden fear of rejection that manifests as wishy-washy language. When you use words like we, maybe, possibly, or if you're free, you think you are being polite, but you are actually offloading the emotional heavy lifting onto her. You are essentially asking her to lead the interaction because you are too afraid to state your intentions clearly. This comes across as uncertain, hesitant, and ultimately needy. True attraction requires a leader, someone who is grounded enough to take responsibility for their own desires without needing external permission to exist. When you replace those weak, defensive phrases with a clear I want, everything changes. You aren't testing the waters or trying to see what she'll say. You are standing in your own truth. You are taking ownership of the direction of the relationship, which creates a massive sense of relief and security for her. Saying I want is about radical honesty and calm confidence. Consider the difference in impact. A man who says, maybe we could hang out sometime if you aren't too busy, sounds like he is preparing for a no. He is trying to minimize his investment so it doesn't hurt as much if she declines. Contrast that with a man who says, I want to take you to dinner this weekend. I know a great place. This second man isn't being pushy or aggressive. He is being decisive. He has a plan, he has a desire, and he is inviting her to join him in that vision. This creates what psychologists call healthy polarity. It is the steady masculine energy of leading with respect. It allows her to drop the burden of making decisions and move into a more receptive feminine energy where she can respond naturally to your lead. By stating what you want directly, you demonstrate that you are a man of intent, and that kind of certainty is one of the most magnetic traits you can possess. 2. Adding depth with because. The second tool in your kit is the word because, and it is the ultimate antidote to the fluff that kills modern dating. Most men give generic compliments like, "You're beautiful," or "You're so cool." While these are nice to hear, they are incredibly shallow. They don't stick because they could be said to anyone. In fact, most attractive women hear these phrases so often they become background noise. To be unforgettable, you have to prove that you are actually paying attention to the person standing in front of you. Because is the bridge that takes a conversation from the surface level and sinks it deep into her heart. It turns a standard comment into an evidence-based observation. It shows her that you aren't just looking at her. You are truly seeing her. When you use because, you are providing a reason for your attraction, which makes the sentiment feel earned rather than forced. If you tell someone, "I enjoy talking to you," it's a pleasantry. But if you say, "I enjoy talking to you because you have a thoughtful way of seeing things that makes me pause and think differently," you have just validated her mind and her unique perspective on the world. You are highlighting her character, her resilience, or her specific humor. This kind of specific recognition is incredibly rare in a world of likes and swipes. It creates a deep emotional resonance because it satisfies a fundamental human need, the desire to be understood. By attaching a because to your statements, you move away from cheap flattery and toward authentic connection. You are showing her that your interest isn't just a physical reaction, but a genuine appreciation for the essence of who she is. And that is a feeling she will replay in her mind for days. 3. The impact of "I appreciate." The final tool in this psychological trifecta is the phrase "I appreciate." To understand why this is so magnetic, you have to look at the massive difference between a compliment and appreciation. Most men are stuck in the compliment trap. They focus entirely on the surface, making comments about her outfit, her hair, or her eyes. While these are fine, they are incredibly common and often feel like a transaction. You give a compliment to get a smile. Appreciation, however, goes much deeper. It isn't about what she looks like, it's about who she is at her core. When you say, "You look nice," it's a standard pleasantry that fades quickly, but when you say, "I appreciate how thoughtful you are with people," it's rare and really beautiful. You are acknowledging her inner qualities, her values, and her character. This signals that you aren't just a consumer of her beauty, you are a witness to her soul. It makes her feel seen in a way that most people never bother to attempt. The real magic happens when you stack these 3 words together to create a powerful, vivid emotional image. Imagine the impact of saying, "I want to see you again because I really appreciate the calm energy you bring." It makes everything feel lighter. In one sentence, you have shown clear intent, "I want," provided logical evidence because, and validated her essence. "I appreciate." This isn't just a sentence, it's an emotional experience. It plants a seed in her unconscious mind that links you to feelings of safety, value, and depth. You aren't just another guy she's talking to. You are the man who noticed the specific quiet parts of her personality that others overlook. This level of recognition creates a profound sense of emotional safety. which is the exact environment needed for her to feel comfortable opening up and building a real connection with you. For mastery and timing, understanding these words is one thing, but mastering them requires a deep sense of timing and social awareness. These words are high-impact tools, and like any tool, they must be used with precision. If you force them into every conversation or drop them too early without any context, you will come across as scripted, inauthentic, or even manipulative. The goal isn't to use these words on someone, it's to speak them when they are genuinely true. The most effective time to use them is when the moment already feels real, perhaps at the end of a long, meaningful conversation or after a date where you've shared a genuine laugh. Timing is the difference between a pickup line and a soul-level connection. You have to wait for the emotional peak of the interaction, then use these words to anchor that feeling in her mind. True mastery also involves your nonverbal delivery. You cannot deliver these powerful words with a shaky voice or while looking at the floor. They must be matched with congruence. This means your body language, your eye contact, and your tone of voice must all tell the same story as your words. You should speak with a calm, steady rhythm and maintain warm, direct eye contact without rushing to finish the sentence. If you are nervous or over-explaining, the impact is lost. Furthermore, you must remember that attraction is a mutual dance, not a solo performance. If you express yourself honestly, and she doesn't match that energy or respond with the same level of interest, you must respect that. A man of high value doesn't chase or push for a reaction. He simply states his truth and lets the connection grow or not grow naturally. Your job is to lead with presence and respect, and let her decide if she wants to follow. Summary for the audience. At the end of the day, attraction isn't about being perfect, writing long paragraphs, or trying too hard to be impressive. It's about leaving an emotional mark by being one of the few people who speaks with real honesty and presence. When you strip away the fluff and the games,